Right now, we are talking about personal finance. And the reason we're talking about this topic is because I saw an article that had to do with a young lady out in Slovenia. So this young lady decided that she and her boyfriend are going to try and commit insurance fraud. And they both conspired that they are going to saw off her hand. So yeah, they're going to take a chainsaw and they're going to saw off her hand so that she can get a payout that's equivalent to around 20 million rand because she had taken out insurance policies with 5 companies the year before. Unfortunately, when the insurance companies did their research, they found that the boyfriend had been searching for prosthetic arms a couple of days before he and her decided to chop off her arms. So now she's been arrested. She's facing a 2-year sentence, and yeah, now you don't have an arm, you're going to prison, and so on and so forth. So we decided, let's find out about insurance fraud from Christelle Coleman, who's the founder of Elite Risk Assurance. Christelle, welcome to Power Lunch.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And what a story.
What a story. I mean, I was just blown away. Like, wait, what? You sawed off your entire... So now you don't have an arm and you're going to prison for 2 years. So that didn't quite work out according to plan.
No.
So how prevalent is insurance fraud in South Africa?
Okay, well, I'm going to talk to you about insurance fraud in the short-term space, so with property and jewelry and cars and that sort of thing. So short-term insurance. And you know what? It is a huge problem. It's definitely increasing the incidence and the severity of the claims as a result of lockdown because people are looking for cash.
Yes.
And we've seen some really hairy, scary things happen, and we can chat about that a little bit. But it's definitely, and South Africa, unfortunately, is a country that's characterized with lawlessness. And people don't seem to understand that committing insurance fraud is committing a crime. So, yeah.
So I was reading a bit earlier on about how in South Africa there was fraudulent and dishonest claims that were valued at about 1.06 billion in the year 2018 and 1.13 billion in the year 2017. Does this mean we're sort of arresting the problem? Because I see that the number has sort of come down a little bit.
I'm absolutely sure that 2020 is going to show us a trend upwards again because of the desperateness of people wanting to get their hands on cash.
Yeah.
And you must remember, insurance fraud isn't just submitting fraudulent claims. It's also increasing an actual claim with an amount that, so say for instance, you lost your wallet or your handbag and it's actually worth 5,000 Rand, but now you claim 25,000 Rand and you lie about things. So there's various degrees of insurance fraud. But, I mean, we've seen some really big insurance fraud claims. Recently, not too long ago, we had a guy in Durban who submitted a 4 million Rand burglary claim with security footage and everything, but the acting on the footage was very poor. So the cameras. And then a family member phoned us and made an anonymous tip-off to say that the event was, the loss was staged. And yes, we're taking criminal steps against that individual because he tried to steal 4 million Rand. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you is insurance is the concept of many people contribute to a pool that pay the losses of the few. Now, if you have few people in that pool claiming fraudulent claims, all of us who are honest end up paying more and more and more because the premiums go up. So it's very wrong.
So then how do insurance companies determine if my claim is legitimate or not?
Well, we've got various ways of determining that. One of the measures that are used by some insurance companies, it's not all of them. When you phone in to report your claim, there's certain technology that's used to hear in your voice if you're stressed. So with other words, lying about some of the factors of the claim. We've got certain rules that apply. So if you try and claim within the first few months of taking out a policy, if you try and claim for a single vehicle accident between 11 o'clock at night and 4 o'clock in the morning, we often know that's because of alcohol-related issues. So we have rules. We have the access to data. We use things like social media. We use things like your cell phone data with your permission. Of course, we're not allowed to use any of these things without your permission. But if you say that you were at a certain place while the burglary was happening at home, then we can say, okay, fine, we want access to your cell phone records to verify your whereabouts at that time. And then we trust people. Insurance is based on the premise of utmost good faith. And we have to trust people that what they tell us is true. And then, of course, when we get the claims, we will ask for things like proof of purchase, ownership information, photographs of the items to prove that you actually had those items. But what does become a problem is when we are dealing with syndicates. So in recent months, at Elite, we're part of Old Mutual Insure. We've had 2 very big claims, and both were part of big fraudulent syndicates. The one was, you might have heard about it, it was an inside job at a vehicle manufacturer, and a very expensive car, R5 million car, was stolen because someone phoned the client to say that his car is due for a checkup because there was something wrong with the electronics I picked up on the computer. And they sent out a towing operator that wasn't part of this vehicle manufacturer. It was an inside job, and the car went missing. We never found that car, so that was a syndicate that operated out of a big jail in Gauteng. And very recently, a very high-profile ring of fraudulent activity around cars that don't really exist. So they call them paper cars. And then transactions happen through motor dealerships, and then there's an accident that also never happened, and a claim is submitted to wash the money. We found out it's drug money from other parts of Africa. So some of these fraudulent claims are involved with big syndicates.
Yeah.
And then we have normal people desperate for money and just inflating a claim or lying about something, and they get caught out. And I think that's the message, is you can go to jail.
That's what I wanted to ask you. What are the repercussions of insurance fraud outside of the insurance company not paying me?
So if we find out that you've been dishonest, and we can prove it, insurance companies can take criminal steps against you, and you can get a criminal record if found guilty in a court of law. You can even go to jail.
Wow.
You can imagine a R4 million fraudulent claim is a very big amount, and that person can end up going to jail. So don't lie about your claim. Don't think that you will get away with it.
Would the repercussions depend on the amount that I was trying to defraud the insurance company of?
Well, it depends. I can't speak. Sorry, I don't know what the right answer is. Let me rather be honest.
It's okay.
We won't take steps against everyone. Let me put it like that.
Yes.
Most certainly, the bigger fraudulent claims will warrant, the legal steps that need to be taken to make sure that person goes to jail.
So, would I be possibly blacklisted in terms of insurance?
Yes, the South African insurance industry has got a voluntary organisation called the South African Insurance Crime Bureau.
Okay.
And this is a team of people who do extremely valuable work around identifying syndicates, identifying multiple fraudulent claimants, even identifying things like motor dealerships who are part of fraudulent activities. And if something does come out, they tend to feed that information back to the entire insurance industry, all the insurance companies, that we're all aware of individuals who are acting in a fraudulent manner, we should be on a lookout for. And then there is a register of blacklisted individuals in the insurance industry as well. And you must also remember, this is very important, if you are a multi-claimant, so you keep on claiming maybe real things happen to you, you're a bad driver, you've got lots of claims, your name also goes onto a list of multi-claimants, and you might battle to get insurance. So don't just claim for everything, even if it is legitimate, because you could either end up paying a lot more in your insurance premium or not getting insurance at all, which is a problem in South Africa.
Would I ever be asked to, return or, in terms of premiums, could I actually say to a company, listen, you are saying to me that I have lodged a fraudulent claim, but I don't believe that it is fraudulent. Can I have my premiums back? Would that be...
That's very unusual. I think what I would say in that instance is we've got the Ombudsman of Short-Term Insurance, and the Ombudsman is an independent office that looks at all the complaints from consumers, and they're very, very fair towards consumers.
Okay.
So if you have an incident like that, it's very good to recommend it to the Ombudsman's office. It's not a hell of a lot of admin. It's all online, and it's OSTI. Is the Ombudsman office.co.za. You submit your forms, and they will investigate all these complaints and make a fair call on the part of the consumer, and then the insurance company has to react to whatever they say.
Aha. If you've just joined us, welcome to Power Lunch. We are in conversation with Christelle Coleman, who's the founder of Elite Risk Insurance, as we talk about insurance fraud, something that is quite prevalent. In fact, Christelle was talking about how during this 2020 period, with so many people desperate for money, we might actually be seeing a little bit of a prevalence when it comes to people lodging fraudulent insurance claims. Now, when it comes a bit earlier on, Christelle, you were talking about sometimes you mustn't claim when something is small. But should I not be alerting my insurer of especially household contents when there is a little bit of a change, even though I might not want to be compensated through insurance, should I not be alerting them?
Oh, that's such a good comment and question. When it comes to informing your insurance company of any change in your risk information, people don't understand this, but it's very, very important. So if you maybe used to have an alarm system and now it doesn't work anymore, or you bought a whole bunch of new furniture and you need to increase your sum insured on your contents, any change in your risk information, you must just send an email or pick up the phone, or lots of companies now have WhatsApp messaging solutions, and just inform your insurer of a change in risk information. Something else that's very important is if you're at my age, I've got teenage kids and young drivers. Don't just assume because you've got insurance anyone can drive your car, especially not your child of 19 years old with a learner's license. Pick up the phone, send an email and say, I've got a young driver, this is the date of birth, noted on my insurance policy, so that if something does go wrong, you have actually disclosed that information to the insurance company. That's very, very important.
Brilliant. Musa in Midrand has got a very interesting question. Musa, welcome to Power Lunch.
How about it?
I'm good, cannot complain.
Well, thank you. I just want to find out from the lady, my bike was stolen a couple of years ago. And earlier this year, I saw this guy riding my bike. And I went after him. For some reason, he disappeared.
How did you know it was your bike, though?
Yeah, it was very expensive.
Exclusive stuff. I got you. That's a very good question.
So and then I didn't get the bike, but I'm just thinking, and I was just wondering if I had found the bike, what was I supposed to do? Because the claim was already paid.
Yes, that's a very good one. So if you have stolen property, you've lodged a claim, the claim has been paid out, and then you do locate that stolen property, what must you do?
Oh, this happens often with stolen vehicles in South Africa, and then, of course, things like stolen bicycles. Once you've been paid out by the insurance company, they call it you've been indemnified. They own the property that has been stolen. So that means that you must phone your insurance company and tell them that the bike has been found or the car has been found, and then they will make an arrangement with you on how to handle that specific item. So in most cases, the insurance company will take that item back. They say it's salvage, that it belongs to them. And they've got ways of disposing of those items, and then that money goes back into the premium pot again, because they've paid you out, so they actually own that item that they've paid you out for. So you have to inform the insurance company. You can't keep it.
So, Christelle,
or you can get the money back.
Because I'm thinking right now, so what happens if I lose my wedding ring, which is insured, and then I get a replacement, and then I find it again? Obviously, the original one I have like sentimental value and a sentimental attachment to it.
Yeah, I've had lots of examples like that over the years, where the ring gets found in the in the lounge suite or in the handbag or whatever. Yeah. You have to phone your insurance company up, and then you have a choice. You can give the money back, or the ring that they've replaced, you can give it back, or you can say to them, you can give them your old ring. You can make an arrangement with them, but you can't keep both. You have to be honest about these things, because you've already been reimbursed, for the loss. And if you get the item back, it actually doesn't belong to you anymore. You have to find out from your insurer how they will handle that specific thing. But when in doubt, always be honest.
Yes,
that's the best way to treat insurance claims and insurance issues. Be honest. Be transparent and disclose, and you will never have a problem.
Thank you so very much, Christelle, for all this information and education. Much, much appreciated.
My pleasure.
That is Christelle Coleman, who is the founder of Elite Risk Assurance. Hey, Batong. So if you found your ring, it belongs to the insurance. Yo, that's tough.
The fabric of our life.